Somebody has run out on the field. Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs at the 50. He runs at the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms. Bare-chested. Somebody stop that man. Oh, they got him. Oh, they got him. They're running from the left. Oh, they got him. Bang, bang, bang in his chest. Bang, bang. The guy is drunk.
Welcome to Fantasy and Chill, Week 1. We are through Week 1 of fantasy football. I'm your quarterback, Ryan Keller, joined as always by Ethan Hargrave.
What's up? Feels good, man.
Feels real good. Love it. Back for another week, we have Austin Turpin filling in.
What's up? Doesn't feel so good, you know? Team scored 75 points.
Brutal.
That is last in the power rankings this week for those curious about the GFA League. Next to last in power rankings this week, we have old producer Matt.
Hey, what's up, team? Negative defense is me and Terp over here.
Right. Negative defense, stand up, baby.
Yeah, way to get that Saints D, Matt.
Hey, they're coming back this week. I ain't dropping them. Going against the Browns.
I gave you the D more than played D.
Whoa.
Come on, man.
Hot take.
All right, so we are going to get in the groove here. If you remember from last year, we have a little kind of like a what word am I? A little structure that we do. And our first segment is always our
Fantasy stud.
Ooh.
Matt, do you have that drop still?
Yeah, but you know we struggling over here because Austin's trying to talk over it.
Fantasy stud.
Just doing it again.
Well, there you go. That's it.
All right, fantasy studs, yeah. And, I mean, we got to start with the top overall scorer this week. It is quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was 21 of 28 passing, 417 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then he also added 12 carries for 36 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. So my question to all of you is, I mean, that was just a fluke, right? I mean, can he continue this? Is he taking over the job from Jameis?
Oh, I was about to say, who didn't see this coming? I mean,
That was 3 different questions.
The most obvious play of the week.
You don't get the nickname Fitzmagic by sucking, okay?
Oh, man. He's got to be on your waivers. If he's not on your waivers, you know, that's...
Honestly,
I wouldn't have thought of picking him up, okay? Really
honestly, he's a spot startable quarterback. It's just, you're in week 2. I mean, it's going to be rare that you need a spot start right now.
I mean, if he's playing like this, Jameis Winston ain't going to be on the field.
If he has 2 more games like this in his neck, because he's starting 3 games, if he plays like, I mean, obviously he ain't going to play like that, but if he puts up like over 20 points, fantasy-wise, means he had a good day in real life, then, I mean, they got to think about benching Jameis.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a strong possibility. I mean, he dropped fucking 40 this week. That ain't happening every week, but
And like 46.
yeah.
It's week 1. People are slow out the gates. Like, let's not get too crazy here. He's a 3 a.m. guy if you're going to get him, but...
I mean, he's a streamable quarterback, but you shouldn't be looking to go out and grab him this early.
Yeah, you got number 1 waiver wire. I mean, I'm not...
Don't waste your waiver on him.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
But excellent performance. The game was actually really exciting.
More so than you would think, but yes.
Yeah.
A lot of points scored in that one.
Yeah.
One stat I did see was that when he was targeting his top 3 wide receivers, so that is Mike Evans, DeShaun Jackson, and Chris Godwin, he targeted them 16 times. He completed 15 of those passes for 331 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's just disgusting.
So he's going to
really
get it to his studs, and he's going to spread it around. I mean, it wasn't just all Mike Evans. He spread it around to all 3 of them.
I think the bigger story here is I don't know if you guys remember 2 years ago that Saints defense was fucking terrible. So was last year the anomaly for them getting back to being good, or I mean, that's the bigger question than I mean that's pathetic to give us that points.
I think we're just gonna call this week 1. NFL.
Yeah,
Just weird stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think they did the same thing last year too. I was listening to
They
another.
started 0-2 last year. I remember that.
Yeah, when they played Minnesota, I think
it's closer
Minnesota
to
put up
a-
some
to a
points on them.
wash, like Keith said, than it is a let's take it for what we saw.
So if we get into our second QB fantasy stud, was his opponent in that game. That was Drew Brees, who was 37 of 45. So he basically threw it twice as much as Fitzpatrick did for 439 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Austin, you mentioned about the Saints defense being terrible again this year. Well, I think that bodes very well for Drew Brees because last year the defense was lights out and Drew Brees he was solid last year, but it wasn't a typical Drew Brees season. This would have been his highest scoring output last year. And so the more points his defense gives up, the more he's throwing the ball. So if you're a Drew Brees owner, you got to be loving it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, don't expect him to be throwing the ball this much every game. I mean, they love the running game there, and they have a good one. So they would prefer to play like they played last year. The thing is if that defense is bad, he still can be Drew Brees, which is going to bode very well for Drew Brees owners.
And as a Kamara owner, I'm actually hoping the defense will suck as well. But
yeah, because for Kamara, it doesn't really matter if they're running or passing the ball. He's involved.
Yeah, he's so good. You don't have to worry about game script with him because they love throwing him the ball.
It also helps that Gillislee fumbled on his. I don't even know how many carries he got before he fumbled, but he went straight to the doghouse after that.
Well,
yeah, I
we
think it
kind
was
of
the
already
second series.
we are kind of already talking about him a little bit, but our first running back stud is Alvin Kamara, who had only 8 carries for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then 9 catches for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. So we talked about that passing. I mean, he only got 8 carries because the game, it got out of hand pretty quick. I mean, he got those early carries. You saw the 2 touchdowns. But then once Drew Brees started passing it, 9 catches for 112 yards. He's so unstoppable. Just watching the game, he's fun to watch, man.
He's so good near the red zone or in the red zone. He's so good around the goal line. I don't think that his stat line on his rushes really does him justice because of how he was down there. And it wasn't too far out either. I mean, he had some really good runs, but yeah, he's a monster. He's so good in the passing game. He's just as good, if not better, than any receiver that they have, hands wise and route running. He's total stud. I'm really glad I'm really glad to have him again this year.
But what about the regression? He was supposed to regress this year.
That's crazy. His output continues to be like unsustainable in quotes, but dear Lord, just like you give him 8 rushes and he's still dropping that kind of fantasy production. The guy's a freak. You can't get from anyone else right now what you can get from him besides maybe David Johnson, but David Johnson has never gone off like this.
Poor David Johnson.
It is just one game, but when he scored that first touchdown, I was like, all right, picking up right where we left off. This is nice.
So I know that he was pretty much all of us had him as a top 5 running back going into the year, but is there any doubt in any of y'all's minds that he doesn't finish as a top 5 running back this year?
Oh, 100% he's going to.
Yeah, health withstanding.
He might even push. He might push for the number 1 this year.
That'd be really cool. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I know you will.
I'm all for that.
Let's get to our second running back stud. We have, making his first start of his career, we have James Conner, who had 31 rushes for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also added 5 catches for 57 yards. He just filled right in that gap and just picked up where the Steelers running back goes. No really drop off at all there from Le'Veon Bell.
I don't think he's as good of a runner as Le'Veon. I don't think he's as talented as he is, but he's what Pittsburgh wants, I guess. You know what I mean? That's what they need. So,
yeah, I agree. He's not Le'Veon Bell, but that offense is good enough, and he does exactly what they want him to do, which will be good enough to get you good fantasy points every week, so long as he's starting.
Yeah, I mean, he's to anybody that picked him up off of waivers or stuck him into your onto your roster somehow. I mean, you basically got a number one running back for nothing.
For however long this lasts, yeah.
Do they tie the Browns if Le'Veon plays though?
Don't start this, Matt.
I mean, it didn't hurt that there was a nasty day out there. Did anybody else notice how many games were wet? There was so rainy around the country.
It's like that in college football too.
It's kind of awesome. I like it like that.
That's crazy when college and NFL is on the same weekend. It's just like rain everywhere.
Football,
it's like they play in the same country.
Works, man.
It's amazing, but yeah, I think it was part of it had to do with the fact that they wanted to keep the ball on the ground. I think Juju actually had more yards receiving than Antonio Brown, which is I don't know if it's gonna happen every week. Yeah, Juju on that B. But where's the dance at, Killer?
I did a little bit.
There we go.
Cut it off so soon.
Yeah, we gotta let that play out a little bit next time, okay?
We're having trouble issues over here with the connection.
3 more seconds. But yeah, I think it was a combination of Browns, weather, and this guy is just gonna fill the role really well. So,
I've heard a lot of people kind of calling for Big Ben's regression this year a little bit, and I mean, like we've been saying, it's the first game, but I mean, what do you throw 4 picks against the Browns?
I think they had 5 turnovers.
Yeah, and
the Browns were +5 in turnover margin.
Yeah,
if that is the case with a little regression, I mean, they're going to be running the ball more. So
that's scary too. If you're the Browns and you're +5, and you just tie the game.
No beer for those Cleveland fans.
That's the most Brown way ever to end a losing streak is to tie.
It's a tie. Hey.
And I thought our boy Zane was gonna win the game for him. Got it blocked, man. That was tough.
Rough life.
But before
his face just froze.
He gone.
I was better, but
well, I'll just leave him like that on the on the live stream. People can enjoy that.
Screenshot that.
But before we move on from he's back, damn it.
I'm back. Shit.
Before we move on from Connor though, I'm getting like a ton of questions on Instagram and Twitter, like people are asking if they should trade him right now. What would y'all say without knowing anyone's lineup or anything, just going based off that question?
Like an actual good offer where you're getting someone that you can start every week for James Conner, I say do it because at some point Le'Veon Bell is coming back to take that job back.
Right, so
now, for the next few weeks until Bell starts playing, I mean he's a guy that's going to be a borderline running back 1, for sure running back 2, but I mean when he comes back he's going to have no value at all.
Right. I think if you're looking to trade him just on a general scale, you either A, you hold on to him and he will be a part of your playoff push, or B, you make sure that you get back in the trade someone who is matchup proof, as in you're going to start every week no matter what their matchup is.
I think that if you are stacked at RB already, if you went RB and you didn't have Bell or whatever, let's just say that you have Kamara and Howard and you picked up Connor like off the waivers or in the 15th round or whatever, just to fuck with your buddy, just whatever. If you're rolling like that, I say you just keep him in your flex until you get to the playoffs. Really, that's the smartest. I think that'd be the best thing to do because you just got to get to the playoffs. You just get to the playoffs, and then after that,
I don't know what value you can get for someone that's really going to help you, for the next 9 weeks.
So I'm trying to think of like a mid-tier receiver. Would you trade him for Marvin Jones?
No,
I wouldn't.
No, I'd go for if you're going to trade him, especially in the example that I just gave you with with the 2 stud being stacked at running back. I would just trade him straight up for a wide receiver 1. I wouldn't take anything less for it.
So one person actually did ask, I have an offer for him for Tyreek Hill straight up. Obviously, you're probably doing that.
Yeah, if you're stacked at running back, I'm taking that.
Yeah. Assuming your other running back are to week.
Before we move past James Conner, I'll just note that he leads after 1 week. He leads all players in touches at 36 and total yards at 192. So that just shows just how much of a focal point he was for the Steelers. Going to our wide receivers, a guy we just mentioned, we have Tyreek Hill, 7 catches for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he added a punt return touchdown. He
100
looks
and
to
how
be
many yards?
169.
He's a
Eh,
freak.
He looks to be Mahomes' favorite target by far. And yeah, I mean, he's even better than he was last year.
Yeah, if you're a Hill owner, you gotta be nutting in your pants right about now, just being so ecstatic. Like, I just turned the channel. Thank you very much. That was well deserved there. But I was flipping through the channels, on my red zone or whatever you want to call it, and I see Mahomes like fling this pass like somehow miraculously. Like it looked disgusting. I thought I was gonna get picked off, and here, like full sprint across the field. Here comes Hill, grabs this thing and then just cuts it up. Like nobody's touching this guy. Wow, I mean, like I think he was marked going like 22 miles per hour or something close to that, which is ridiculous. And
he fast.
adds ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, when you drafted him, you knew that the talent you were getting. I think everyone's concern with Tyreek was like, okay, first of all, is Mahomes going to be any good, able to get it to him? And B, Kelce has been such a weapon there. How's all that going to work? Well, hell, man, he pretty much threw to Tyreek and Tyreek only. Like, Watkins didn't do anything. Kelce didn't do anything. So he really loves Tyreek. And, yeah, if you drafted him, you got a nice little chub for Tyreek right now.
I mean, in fairness, they were double teaming Kelce a lot, so that's probably why that was probably part of the game plan. But yeah, I think Hill's just so damn shifty, and he runs routes across the field so well that I just think they're gonna have a hard. You can't lock him down. They're gonna find a way to give him the ball.
You don't people in the NFL that can't be. Most guys can be run down, but he is like the one guy. If he's in open field, you're not getting him.
I just hope to God this guy does not get hurt anytime soon.
Why would you say that?
I just fear the worst, man.
He's so one interesting thing I saw about Tyreek Hill. So during the entire game, he only ran 20 routes. He was targeted once every 3 routes.
That's crazy.
Which is ridiculous.
I see 15 on this website.
He was only targeted once every 4.9 routes last year.
That was the thing is Alex Smith, I was only using him for that, let's try to go deep and hit him, once every few games. But Mahomes really keyed in on him and was hitting him on some of the shorter routes and letting him make plays after the catch, which is really exciting for a Tyreek owner because that's what you had to draft him really high to get him, and that's what you needed to justify that value, and you're getting it.
Looks good.
Plus, like he did every few weeks, he might add a special teams touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah, he pretty much screwed me because no, it's all good. I was just gonna say he pretty much screwed me because after he started off the game so hot, they had no need to throw it to Travis Kelce anymore, and that kind of hurt my feelings.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
The last fantasy stud, I had to decide between 2 guys, but I went with Michael Thomas just for the fact that he had 16 catches for 180 yards and 1 touchdown. So, Austin, he's on your team. He had half your points, so you want to speak on him a little bit?
Yikes.
Yeah, Michael Thomas is really good. If you drafted him, you're happy and you're excited. Like we've already talked about, the game script was absolutely ridiculous, but this is something this is something that he can do in a regular week. So to be honest, it's what you expected. Michael Thomas is a beast.
Very good.
With all that being said, are you worried at all about the Saints defense? Sorry, I just had to make up something to say that. I don't know.
No, the answer is no.
No matter how the game's going, Drew Brees is going to throw to Michael Thomas. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
by far their best target. He's his favorite target.
Is he, though? What about Kamara?
I mean, I don't count Kamara. He's a freak.
1A, 1B.
But he's their best offensive player.
Those two guys were the only ones that touched the ball there. So
I know.
We'll
Ted
get to
Ginn.
another guy who touched Matt. We're gonna get to the other
Rewind.
guy later.
So are we done with Thomas? Because we have a question about a receiver actually on the old
we're done.
YouTubes. The question is, so we actually, this kind of ties into what we were talking about before we started the podcast about, someone had Doug Baldwin on their waivers and asked if they should pick him up, and we absolutely said yes.
On the waivers?
Yeah. But the question is, should you now drop Doug Baldwin with his injury?
The 4-man league? You got Doug Baldwin on the...
Are you sure? I don't think that question was someone picking him up off waivers.
The one on Twitter was, but the question we have on YouTube now.
Over Jarvis Landry.
That was the next question after should he pick him up.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been on waivers to begin with, and now should you drop him? No, because even though he's going to probably be out for a few weeks, he's a guy that's going to be the #1 target in Seattle. He's going to put up a ton of points when he comes back. Just wait it out.
Seattle is a second half team. They've always been a second half team, always. So you just gotta hang it up. It
sucks right now.
It sucks right now, but
hang on to him.
Don't dump him.
Russell Wilson will be in the MVP conversation at the end of the year,
Ooh.
and the guy he's going to be throwing it to is Doug.
Hot take.
That's his quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
Anytime you draft Russell or Baldwin, you just gotta realize that they're a second. Seattle Seahawks are a second half team. Second half of the season. You just gotta bite the bullet for the first half, and after that, it's like miracle run. So
they might have a little running game now too, but
maybe
if they can decide on who to use.
Who's Pete going to give the full load to?
Chris Carson definitely looked the best last week.
Who's going to give him the load? Are they ready for the full load?
But yeah, to answer that question, no, do not drop Doug Baldwin under any circumstances.
Yeah, I think at most he's going to be out 6 weeks. Yeah. Just saying how long he's going to be out for. I think
time for them to start heating up.
Exactly. They have a bye week 7, so he's probably going to be out there. He already had an injury coming into the season, kind of a lingering one. So they're probably just going to keep him out till week 7 until their bye, and then play him after that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I don't care if he's not coming back till fantasy playoffs. You can't drop him because when he does come back, auto start.
Yeah.
Okay, that ends our fantasy stud segment. So the next thing we're going to get into is something I'm calling RELAX or PANIC ? So if you can't spell, that is Aaron Rodgers would say relax or panic. Is it panic time? So we got a few names here, and sorry, Ethan, got to go to you first here. You know what's coming. So your boy, all of our boys, had a little rough outing on Sunday. DeShaun Watson was 17 of 34 for only 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 8 carries for 40 yards, and a fumble. So, Ethan, are you chilled? Are you relaxing week 1, or is it time to panic? Relax.
Let's all take a deep breath, okay? Everything's going to be okay. I promise. I didn't say he was going to be the #1 quarterback of the first week. Just relax. This is typical Texans, man. They got completely outcoached. They were not prepared. This looked like pre-weeks.
What do you mean? They got Bill O'Brien. How did they get outcoached?
It's not his job, Brian, to coach this team.
Not my job.
Anyways.
Speaking of Bill O'Brien's job real quick, did y'all hear what he said about not calling a timeout?
Yeah. He said it's not his job.
Not his job.
Unbelievable. Sorry, Ethan, to interrupt there, but
you just emboldened my case. But what you saw was Bill Belichick's, being prepared versus Bill O'Brien being prepared. This is we didn't see, if you watched the Texans at all in the preseason, you saw a little bit of DeShaun Watson, but you didn't see him too much. It just looked like it was preseason week 6 basically out there. They looked like they weren't ready. But I can't help but suspect that they're going to be and maybe not next week, but the week after that, I have a feeling that it's just going to start picking up steam. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy.
One thing I saw that people were comparing it to was last year when he came in at the end of the Jacksonville game and then that Bengals game. I mean, he kind of looked like this, where he looked a little uncomfortable. He had flat feet. And then what did he do? Third week came out and just lit the world on fire. So
Yeah.
I think he's going to turn it around. Obviously, he's way too talented. There's too many weapons. Once he gets Will Fuller back and he can stretch the field, then I think everything will change. But I think, like Ethan said, you don't really have to worry about it.
No, yeah, I'm chill as a cucumber about DeShaun. He's you got to remember he's also going to play the Titans and the Colts twice each this year, and he's absolutely going to light them the fuck up. So, yeah, just hold your horses. DeShaun's going to be a beast. No one should be worried at all.
If he does this 3 weeks in a row, then I'll be like,
Then maybe
okay.
we start thinking
If he
about
does
it.
it 3 weeks in a row, I'll be mildly concerned. Like you,
Yeah. I
Don't
might
worry.
pause. I might pause for a second, but
he's going to be.
let's just all take a deep breath. Relax.
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 Okay,
I think
next guy. Oh, sorry.
The more concerning problem would be the fact that we didn't change our sets up, or we didn't change our strategy on offense at all until the second half of the third quarter of the fucking game.
I mean, does that surprise you?
That's not Bill O'Brien's job, Ethan.
Somebody give me the playbook. Just let me play the call.
You give Tony Romo the playbook.
Yeah,
Give
Tony
Tony
Romo was
Romo.
a much better coach in the booth than Bill
Oh.
O'Brien was.
At least he made the game bearable. Sorry, I'm done.
All right, next guy. I'm going to Austin here. This was his. Trying to look up here. This is your third round pick.
Woof.
LeSean McCoy, Matt's boy last year.
Woof.
Seven carries for 22 yards, 1 catch for -1 yards. Are you relaxing or are you panicking a little bit?
I'm gonna go with the or of that statement, as in I'm in the middle. I think I'm panicking on the verge of the fact that the Bills are absolutely god awful.
What is wrong, Ethan?
He's in denial so bad.
Yes, I'm gonna let him talk, but then I'm gonna talk too, and just you go first, Austin.
The Bills are absolutely god awful. Look, this is going to be your saving grace with LeSean McCoy. At some point, the Bills are going to have to realize that their quarterbacks are fucking terrible, and they're going to have to give it to LeSean about 30 times. So, I mean, there's nothing you can do. If you drafted him, you can't get rid of him. Like, you drafted him high enough, you're not going to drop him.
No, you can't get rid of him, but I would be scared to death right now if I invested a top 3 pick in LeSean McCoy, because we've been saying for a few years that like his time is going to come to an end at some point. He's 30 years old or so. That's about the
He's
lifespan of
30.2.
He already was kind of slowing down a little bit from a skill set, and when you stick him on a god awful team that's going to get blown out a bunch, that's not a good formula for an aging running back. And if I were you, Austin, I would not be feeling good about his prospects this year.
I don't think it helped that he played the Ravens though first week. He played the Ravens first week and they went down huge, but I'm still not hopeful for him.
The thing is, no one else is coming in at quarterback to keep those games close.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not feeling great about it, but
or
he's literally the only NFL player on that offense. So at some point they're gonna have to give him the ball.
That's the problem. He's the only NFL player on the offense.
They get to just stack the defense on him.
It's like you could literally put 11 men in the box and it's not gonna matter.
But what changed from last year though? Besides Tyrod.
Tyrod is a lot better than Nathan Peterman.
They lost a lot of guys.
Well, Peterman's out now.
Incognito's gone.
Incognito's gone. Their center's gone. It's a dumpster fire. It's a baby diaper dumpster fire. Okay.
Yeah.
Baby diaper. It's just nothing but poof on flames in the middle of the sun, baking for 2 weeks. Garbage. There is no or. It is panic. You should be panicked right now.
Mash the panic.
What's wrong with you?
Look, this is what's happening right now. You lit a fire in your fireplace around Christmas time. it slowly started seeping out of the fireplace. It caught your couch a little bit on fire. You haven't quite noticed it yet, but you know, as long as it doesn't spread, don't panic. Just put it out, man.
How do you not notice your couch on fire, though, man? You got to realize this. You're done. Your team is done already.
Look, go on to the fucking next one.
No, one thing I will say
He's
is
panicking now.
he is panicking. He's done. One thing about the Bills in general is the fact that Jerrod Taylor took this team to the playoffs last year is something nothing short of amazing. So I'll just leave it at that.
They're fucking terrible, dude.
It was impressive. Next guy was going to be for Britt. He's not here to defend him, but we got Kareem Hunt. We talked about the Chiefs quite a bit, but in all that scoring, Kareem Hunt only had 16 carries for 49 yards. And one thing that really jumps out, 0 catches. It's not good from your number 3 running back from last year that most people had to draft in the first or second round. So are we relaxed about Kareem Hunt, or are we a little panicked?
I'm gonna say let's relax. The guy's streaky.
He is very streaky. If you remember last year, I think the first 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, he was scoring 40 every week, and then he went about half the season where I think he got less than 10 every week, and then he ended huge too. So I mean, he is streaky.
Yo, Killer, I think you might want to go hide the knives or something. I think
he's deciding to end it.
Austin has officially left the building.
He gone. Where were we? Oh, Kareem Hunt.
So
he can join later if he wants.
I just wouldn't worry too much about Kareem Hunt right now. We all saw what he did last season, so everybody's like, "Oh, should I play him? Just plug him. Just wait. Just put him in there. He's gonna be fine."
I mean, let's put it this way: you feel 100% better about Kareem Hunt than you do LeSean McCoy.
Oh, infinitely amount better. What I can't express in words in the English language how much better I feel about Kareem Hunt than I do LeSean McCoy. I feel so sorry for McCoy. I can't.
This kind of goes back to what I was speaking about earlier with Travis Kelce. They just got up big. So you, damn it, right in the middle of my sentence.
I thought you ended it, Terp.
But yeah, what I was going to say is they just got up big, so you kind of knew what they were trying to do there. Like, of course they're going to run the ball when they get up big. And plus it was the Chargers too. Chargers had a pretty solid run defense. Solid defense overall last year. So I'm not worried at all.
To our last question, and Matt already mentioned it, but this is for Matt. This is Matt's 3rd round pick. He went bold, took Travis Kelce in the 3rd round. Ooh. So on only 6 targets when Mahomes was just going crazy. 6 targets, 1 catch, 6 yards. How are you feeling, Matt?
Honestly, I'm not worried about the targets. I'll take 6 targets. Like, it's not terrible for a tight end.
How about that catch percentage?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a Chargers are a good defense, and historically he's been bad against the Chargers. I think you can go back. He's
Chargers
never
have a good defense. Didn't the Chiefs score about 40 points?
Yeah, did the Saints just give up all the fucking points to Ryan Fitzpatrick? Yeah, it's the first week. Yeah.
Well, then you're high.
What do you mean? The Saints are a good defense. They were good last year.
If they're a good defense, they don't give up 50 points to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, they were bad 1 week. I think it has to do with a lot of people not playing the preseason. That's beside the point, though. Travis Kelce has been historically bad against the Chargers for whatever reason, and he did the same thing last year. And what was he, number 2 tight end, number 3 tight end last year? He's gonna be fine. Especially if you end up
worried though that I mean, obviously Alex Smith likes to lean on his tight ends a lot more than Mahomes, so maybe a little downtick in production.
Maybe a little bit though, but it's also a rookie quarterback, and historically rookie quarterbacks have been, they throw to the tight ends more than anyone. So
technically it's his 2nd year, but yeah, we'll give you.
I mean, come on, it's his 1st year.
Basically,
once they realize that Mahomes is good with a deep ball, they're gonna try to guard that. Tyreek. I mean, for however much you can guard Tyreek Hill. He's going to start filtering it more to the tight end.
Out of those 4 guys, I'm going to rank them on who we feel the best to the worst. So I think we feel the best about DeShaun Watson, then Kareem Hunt, then Travis Kelce, and then like way down, way down.
Way
LeSean
down.
McCoy.
In the basement.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, I would rank DeShaun Watson probably far and above Kareem Hunt and Kelce. I'm a little worried about both of them, but yeah, McCoy is
The only
in
thing
the
that worries
basement.
me really about those two guys is that that offense went off on Sunday and they were not involved at all. That's a little scary.
Yeah, but that was the Tyreek Hill show. I don't
Yeah,
think
but,
it's not going to be
it's
that
not-
every week.
Like, let's say, nowadays we're watching every game, but let's say you see the score of a game, you see that the team scored 30 points and you got one of the studs. You're like, oh man, he had to have got me like 20 points today. Then you log on and see, what the heck, Travis Kelce got me 1 point. That's
Yeah,
a
it
little
was
worrisome.
It was one of those games that they got up big early, and one of them was a special teams touchdown. So
Yeah.
they you could take the foot off the the gas a little bit.
All right, Matt, you got me ready to go. Ethan, this is for you.
Sure.
All right.
Sticky fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a slow boat to Chinatown. Where in the world is
Le'Veon Bell.
He's so stupid.
I was sitting there today like, "Man, what could we do?" And I was like, oh, that's perfect.
That was
Where
definitely worth the
Le'Veon Bell-
rehearsal.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I figured you appreciate that.
Nice.
I know that's your era there.
A little bit.
So getting to that point, MIA, Le'Veon Bell, he has been missing now for 9 days since he was supposed to report, we thought, last Monday. 9 days. When do we see this coming to an end?
My
Lots
sources,
of rumors floating out there, a lot of different time frames.
my sources are telling me that the Steelers are prepared for Bell to be out long term. So, at least week 10, if I had to guess. I mean,
So
this
that's
is
what
all
you're going to go
guesswork.
with. I've heard anywhere
This is
from
just guesswork.
a couple weeks by the end of the month to week 10. Now, do we know the significance of the week 10 in case our listeners don't?
I mean, they removed him from the depth chart. Okay. So,
Well, the significance of week 10 is if he doesn't show up by week 10, then he can't become a free agent after the season. So
Right.
they can just
So
franchise
he
him
has
again.
100% incentive to show up by week 10. As long as he shows up by week 10, he is able to become a free agent at the end of the year, which is what he ultimately wants, to get paid. So he'll be back for sure by week 10. Now, until then, who knows? So until he comes back, like we talked about, James Conner is going to be a stud. So if you are a James Conner or a Le'Veon Bell owner, you really want to pay attention to this. If you're one of the lucky ones that is a Le'Veon Bell and James Conner owner, then you should feel pretty good because no matter what, you got a number one back going.
Yeah, you'd much rather have Le'Veon Bell come
Oh,
back,
for
obviously.
sure. But James Conner just put up about 33 points or whatever it was, 35 points.
21? 33, damn.
21, about 36.
21.
yeah, Le'Veon Bell's partying in Miami right now, just in case you're wondering.
Awesome.
Yes.
You can party.
Partying
As long
in
as Josh
Miami.
Gordon's not there, we're fine.
No.
All right,
Josh
so this
Gor-
section, I'm basically
Well,
just like highlighting a few players. That
Let me
didn't
ask
make it to
a
our
real question real quick.
Okay, sorry, yeah, just interrupt me. Go for it.
Well, it's a fan question on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes, what they got?
It's a trade from Rob the Slob, for those of you that know him. Should he trade Cobb for Lynch?
So should he trade Randall Cobb for Marshawn Lynch?
Yes, that is the question.
Yes, I would do that. I think Randall Cobb just had his top scoring output of the season in week 1. I think he had like 27 in PPR, 20 or in half PPR, something like that. I'm pretty sure he had 27 when I checked, and we play half PPR. Marshawn Lynch is a guy that's going to get a heavy workload in Oakland. John Gruden loves him. As you saw last night, he basically just got carried for 7 yards for that first touchdown into the end zone. I think he's going to be pretty solid this year. So anytime you can trade a borderline wide receiver 3 flex for a guy that's going to be in that RB2 category, I'd make that deal.
And not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm still
Be the Debbie Downer.
I'm a little cautious. I'd be a little bit cautious about Cobb's injury history He has a hard time staying on the field, or has in recent history. So, or recently. So, I would take that into account as well. Having said that, beast mode also has problems staying on the field too. But I think that if you're feeling good about your wide receivers right now, I think you could go ahead and make that trade. I think
that's a huge sell high opportunity there.
Especially with Rodgers a little banged up.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, you don't know how he's going to be. You don't even know if he's playing next week.
Right.
So I'm playing softball. I'm dropping bombs on Sunday. Okay, I didn't even have a chance.
Bombs.
There's bombs. I'm hitting the Bass Pro Shop. Okay.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but I like
If
it.
you're not familiar with the softball fields we play at Big League Dreams, there's a giant Bass Pro Shop, or is it a Cabela's or is it a Bass Pro Shop?
Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop,
Same
same
thing.
shit. Doesn't
Behind
matter.
the
I'm hitting
field,
that
so yeah.
So I look at I'm just, I go check my little scores and stuff, and before I can even get to my scores, somebody from my group text is like, Rodgers down, out for a season. I'm like, what the? I like, there goes up in flames already. There we go. I come back like 30 minutes later. It's like, Rodgers back in the field. Like, what? And I look at my score. Somehow he scored 20-something points. Like, how does that happen? What happened? I didn't even get a chance to check it out. What the hell happened?
What happened is that he pulled a Paul Pierce and came back in and just hobbled all over the place and made pin perfect throws. And who were they playing? Bears defense fell apart, and Sam fucking had him, and he came back and beat me. And
feels bad, man.
What happened was they piped him full of painkillers. I don't know if y'all saw the post game interview, but
I heard he was high as a kite.
Oh god.
I saw a picture of it. I didn't get to see him talking, but Jesus, like I guess
he was cheesing.
Like, oh no, DeShaun Kaiser is not going out there. No.
Then he went and popped his pill in old Danica. If you know what I mean.
Oh. Yeah. I know what you mean. You mean this.
Whoa.
Hey.
Whoops.
Hey, it's a
PG-13.
Production here.
My bad.
All right, next, I gotta give Matt. I know you're probably ready for this, so if you want to go ahead and cue it up.
Oh no.
It's coming. He's been waiting 3 seasons for this game.
Was that it?
Where's it at?
Waiver claim.
Oh, we gotta do the waiver claims drop first, though, don't we? Or are we still on?
No, I'm not in. We still got 5 people to talk about for waiver claims.
Oh, I'm way behind.
This is your boy. What are you doing?
My bad.
This is your moment. There it is. The Crow.
The Crow, man. I've been telling y'all the past 3 seasons.
With a vengeance. 10 carries for 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. If you were watching that fucking beatdown last night, you saw, what was that second touchdown, like a 60-yard run, 70-yard run?
Yeah.
It was very Crow-like. That's what he's been doing.
Not very Crow-like at all.
No, that's what he always does, though.
When does he ever do that? He has never done that before in his life.
I think
he has.
Like his first year in the league, maybe.
That's the problem with him. He doesn't get you those 6-yard runs that build up your fantasy points, but he'll bust off that 50-yard run. Not very it's not on occasion, but he'll do it every now and then.
I've never seen that before.
What? That's what he was known. That's why he got such big games early on in his career.
I don't remember that. But anyways, Matt, the question for you: are you starting him this week?
In my personal league?
In your GFA league?
In my GFA league, no, I'm not, because I have Lamar Miller and he's more consistent.
Lamar Miller looked good.
He did. Yeah. He did look good. If he would just get a touchdown, that'd be cool. And I'm a little worried about the Crow because they still gave fucking Bilal Powell more carries than he did. They both look decent, though. But the Crow only got 10 carries. And that's...
Did it have anything to do with them up so big, or do you think not?
Well, that's the thing. If you're up big, just pound the ball. Pound the rock, man. What are you throwing the ball for? And why are you giving it to a 30-year-old?
Darnold's got to get some practice in, man.
I was a little hopeful, though, that he was catching a little bit of passes. So if you're playing a PPR league, it looks a little better for you, but just fucking give him the rock, man. It's the Crow. Do they not understand how good he is?
Even a blind squirrel.
Crickets.
That thought.
Every now and then.
That was a thought. He's good.
Oh, well, you like kind of ended that on like a high note, like you were about to say something else, and then you just stopped.
Very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I can't get more climatic than the Crow.
Next guy, I mean, this guy, he's solid every year. Last year he was top 10 running back, but I think this is the year he makes that jump into the top 5, and that is Melvin Gordon. Very impressed with him on Sunday. The thing that jumps out to me, he's going to get the carry. He's going to pound the rock. He had 13 targets from Phillip Rivers on Sunday. Like what I see out of him.
He will be used and abused. And he's good. He's
Very
good.
That's why I ranked him so high this year.
Right, top 5 running back for sure.
See, I believe I had him right around the top 5. I don't know my rankings.
I can tell you where you had him. I got him right here.
I might have had him number 6 actually, and I took him number 8 in our league.
I can't remember. Yeah, you were last on it. You had him 6th.
Okay, yeah. So that's the reason I picked him, or I ranked him so high and picked him above his ADP, was because I thought he was going to catch a lot more balls this season. And yeah, so far, week 1, he's proven me correct.
Okay, good.
I wish his yards per carry would go up a little bit on running the ball, but I think that'll happen sooner or later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what do we think about Adrian Peterson? Second most carries in the league with 26. Looked good out there. But if we remember last year, first game when he was on the Cardinals last year, came out the gate hot. I think he had over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he didn't do shit the rest of the year. So is this another one of those cases, or is he a guy you're going to be able to lean on?
I think it's a better situation. I'd be fairly happy with him as my RB2 right now, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's more of a flex, but I think I'd feel a lot more comfortable with him in the flex. But I think you got to be happy about what you saw, and I think that's a much better situation. It's just a better situation, all in all, for him over there.
If you own him, are you selling high or holding on to him?
I think I'm going to hold on to him. I think it's best for you to hold on to him right now. But if I'm getting a wide receiver 1 for him,
then yeah, pull the trigger.
Yeah. One thing I am worried about with him is, since they had the lead, I think, the entire game, so there was no reason not to pound the rock with him. But if they go down big, or down at all, really, that's Chris Thompson's backfield. Like, they're going to throw the ball. He had, I don't know how many catches he had, but
and he had a good game too.
Yeah, exactly. And Peterson has not been known to catch the ball that much.
I think in a standard league you'd want to hold on to him, but in a half point PPR or a full point, I think you would have to look for. I've been open to trades.
Yeah. Okay, another guy that I was really high on this year, who had a big game Sunday, looks to have a breakout year, is Joe Mixon. He had 17 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. Also added 5 catches for 54 yards. And the big thing here, last year they gave it to him, but then they still had Giovanni Bernard as that third down back. Okay, Giovanni Bernard is just not going to be involved this year. It looks like he has no competition. This is Joe Mixon's backfield. So you got to like that if you're a Mixon owner.
He looked. I'm not a Mixon guy. I'm not a Mixon truther, but I gotta say he looked very good on Sunday.
See, I was pretty high on him coming in, and I think after seeing on Sunday and the way they used him, I think he can push for a top 10 back this year.
He's I helped a buddy of mine draft in one league. It's a crazy ass draft. It's a crazy ass league, but that was actually our keeper, so I was really happy to see him perform on Sunday. So.
Gotta keep in mind they did play the Colts. I'm still relatively high on them too, just because, like you said, there's no competition. You're always looking for who has opportunity. This week, they're going against the Ravens, who just shut down the powerhouse Bills. So
the powerhouse Bills.
Hey, Bills Mafia, man.
I'm a little scared because I have 4 of my 9 starters are playing Thursday night. Got Alex Collins, AJ Green, Ravens defense, and Justin Tucker. And those Thursday night games are just crazy, and I don't know what to expect. So I'm a little scared.
Well, the Ravens should be all rested up anyways, so
yeah,
you should be fine.
Okay, last guy I want to talk about before we get to our waiver claims is Emmanuel Sanders. Looks to have a big bounce back year. Case Keenum's favorite target. He was targeted 11 times. He caught 10 passes for 135 yards and 1 touchdown. So after the last couple years where we've seen that just terrible quarterbacks come through Denver, maybe this is when he finally gets back to his normal form and goes for another 1,000-yard season.
I think you should be happy about about DT and Emo, really. I mean, I'd be happy if I would own either one of them right now because the offense is so much improved, and those are 2 very talented wide receivers that have good hands.
Hey, whose house? It's Case Keenum's house.
Yeah, he didn't look that great, though.
Hey, 3 touchdowns, 300 yards.
Didn't he throw 3 picks?
Yeah, but they won the game. What does it matter? Throw 7 picks, win the game.
I'm a Sanders owner, but I also own Antonio Brown, AJ Green, and Jarvis Landry. So I'm pretty loaded at wide receiver. I can only play 3 of them with my flex, so probably looking to get rid of one of those guys. Trying to kind of sell high on Sanders right now, but I mean, I got to get rid of one of them and probably flip one for a running back.
A lot of people are comparing Sanders to Thielen, like Case Keenum's Thielen this year. So
yeah,
if he's going to be anything like that,
slot guy.
Oh,
would you get rid of him though? If he's like that, if he puts out the production that Thielen did last year, I don't know if he can.
Maybe like AJ Green will go off for like 30 one of these weeks, and I can flip him for RB1.
Yeah, Green always worries me just because I can never trust Dalton. I don't know.
I'm working on Sam every day to try to get Le'Veon Bell from him, so I'm poking at him.
Well, now if he listens.
Oh, he already knows what I'm doing. I was trying to talk him into Sanders today. He wasn't having it, so.
Hey, a couple more weeks like this, and things can change.
I told him, I said, I'm here. I got 4 receivers. He needs receiver help. So, anyways, I kind of just want to hit on a few more guys that didn't quite make the studs, but had some big weeks or were positive signs going into the year. So finally, we're going to get to our waiver claims, and
I can make the drop now.
Yeah.
Waiver claims.
Waiver claims.
There we go.
And since it is week 1 and we just had so many guys that we didn't really know what to expect, this is a long list. So we're going to try to get through this pretty quick and not dwell too much on some of these guys. And because there are, I'm not going to count those, but it looks about 20. So about 20 waiver guys here.
21.
Oh, yeah. 21. Okay, first one we're going to talk about, TJ Yeldon. He came in for the injured Leonard Fournette and had 14 carries for 51 yards and added a reception touchdown. He's on the top of everyone's list this week, mainly because Leonard Fournette has it's hamstring, right?
Hamstring, yeah.
Which is always tricky for a running back. This could be a multiple-week injury. They haven't confirmed if he's out this week, but if he is, then you got to figure TJ Yeldon is a guy that you could possibly start on Sunday.
If you're a Fournette owner and you don't have Yeldon, shame on you.
Yeah, that's why I'm assuming Britt is second in waivers, and he's a Fournette owner, so I already know he's probably picking up Yeldon tonight.
If he's not, though.
800 fantasy bucks.
I'm not even putting in a claim for him because he's going to be gone by the time he gets to me. So
820 fantasy bucks out of 100. He's going to be spending it on that. Almost guaranteed.
So since the GFA league is switching to Fab next year, what would you recommend a Fournette owner percentage-wise bid on Yeldon?
A Fournette owner?
A Fournette owner, yes.
I like 40%.
Jesus. Yeah, 30, 40.
See, I've never done. I'm new to all this, and I'm just trying to use my best guess. What this team's about, mainly because if you're a Fournette owner, this is a guy you drafted as your number 1 running back, and anytime he's out, you got to have Yeldon to fill in because he's going to have not exactly the same value, but close enough to where you can play him.
Yeah, unless you got handcuffs sniped in the draft somehow, nobody's picking up TJ Yeldon. So there's no excuse for you not to have TJ Yeldon as a Fournette owner.
Yeah,
plain
agreed.
And simple. So you should. The correct answer is you shouldn't have spent any fantasy bucks on this shit. The end.
Fair.
Okay, Jerrod Taylor. He, if you watch the game, you didn't think he played too well, but the thing was, it pushed him over the top. He had 77 yards rushing and added a rushing touchdown. So that high rushing floor is always going to make him an intriguing start and a guy that you can pretty much like stream every week, pretty much. I probably started him, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks last year, and he always did me good. So just a guy to think about if you're having QB issues, or if you're like me and you're a Stafford owner and you're pissed off right now. Maybe picking up Jerrod Taylor.
So we talked about preseason. He'll give you those rushing yards, and that's always makes for a good streamer.
If you're an Aaron Rodgers owner and you're worried about him playing, that's the guy you can pick up to fill in. High rushing floor. I mean, he had, 13.7 points alone just from rushing. So
very interesting. But yeah, I swear to God, he's gonna get creamed. He's gonna get hurt. It's just a matter of time.
He got hurt last game, but I think he realized that Baker was on his heels, so he was like, "I'm just gonna stay in."
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before Baker Mayfield gets in there. I give it till week 6.
I'll give it till next season.
I hate to say it. I like Jerrod. Did I say his name correctly?
Jerrod.
Yes, he'd be happy.
I like Jerrod. I'm a Jerrod fan. I like the guy. Great guy. Good for football. He's gonna get hurt.
The best.
All right, next one. This isn't a guy that you'll be able to start this next week because he's still suspended. But you want to get ahead of the curve here. He's a guy probably not going to be available in 2 weeks when he comes back from suspension. That's Aaron Jones. He had a good year for the Packers last year. I think they like him a lot. And Jamal Williams wasn't too impressive on Sunday. So I think Aaron Jones is going to get every opportunity when he comes back.
Absolutely the best pure running back they have on that squad. Hands down.
The only thing that scares me that I saw, I can't remember where I saw it, but that Jamal Williams is a much better in pass protection than Aaron Jones. And with Aaron Rodgers, did I say the right names there? I feel like I said a lot of names there.
No, you're good.
Jamal Williams, better in pass protection than Aaron Jones. And if Aaron Rodgers is still banged up, they're going to want the better pass protector in there. That's the only thing I saw.
A lot of Aarons. But yeah, that's what I read as well. I still have Aaron Jones stashed in my other league on my bench just because Jamal Williams doesn't show very much.
Yeah. Get it away in the corner of the cupboard.
Okay, we had a little blast from the past on Sunday. DeShaun Jackson, 5 catches for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. But if you were watching that game, you saw at the end he had to leave because he hit his face on the turf, and he's probably concussed a little bit. But if he is healthy and playing, I mean, how do we like DeShaun? Looked like Fitzpatrick was airing it out to him.
That's a big if, man. He just scares the crap out of me. Am I the only person that takes like injury history into consideration whenever I'm thinking about picking up players? Like, he just scares the shit out of me. I want him, but I don't want him because I just know that I'm going to put him in a game. I want to put him in my lineup, and he's going to get hurt. Like,
he's going to get hurt in the first quarter. He's going to get 1 point.
Yeah, he's going to get 1 point. Ta-da!
Now where am I at? How many years has he been like a high waiver claim guy? Just because he goes off 1 week and then you pick him up and he probably gets you less than 5 points the next week. He's just one of those guys that's like, it's like a Mike Wallace type.
Wasn't Mike Wallace like perpetually on our waiver list?
I think he was on the waiver list every week last year.
We got Mike
no one
Wallace.
Ever picked him up.
The waiver list
Same
Hall
thing
of
with,
Fame.
I think we had Alan Hearns on there, or Marquise Lee. Marquise Lee was it. Marquise Lee, he's still available. Pick him up while he's there.
You think he's still there? No, I don't know. Actually, he's hurt.
DeShaun Jackson definitely, though, benefits from, I think, Ryan Fitzpatrick more than Jameis Winston.
Oh, yeah.
Fitzpatrick doesn't give a shit. He's just going to chunk the ball. Jameis Winston just gets in his own head, I feel like, and just not. I think all the receivers in the Bucs, you're better off with Fitzpatrick than Jameis.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for those long bombs, yeah.
Yeah. I think just in general, yeah.
Okay, next one. Matt was high on him going into the year. We have George Kittel, 5 catches for 90 yards, and could have been a huge day because he dropped a touchdown in the end zone.
What an idiot.
I don't think that's his first time doing that either.
But I really liked what I saw from them. They're trying to get him involved. I think Garoppolo loves him. And he was running those routes that you see Gronk run, where he's just going up the field. They're trying to stretch him long. And I think he's going to be – I think he's for sure a top 10 tight end this year.
Oh, easily. I think I'm the only one that had him ranked top 10, wasn't I?
You are. Yeah,
Yeah.
I told you it was,
Yeah.
it was
Give me
you.
some more credit for that.
I did.
I'm going to be bad on everything else, but I nail my tight ends, okay?
Whoa.
No.
Tight ends. Can we get a sound drop? Like, can we
Yeah,
clip
no.
that?
As a producer, I will not clip that.
They came out a little too, yeah. Anyways.
I mean, shit. Whatever. I'll do it anyways. But I think it helped that Goodwin went out pretty early as well.
Yeah.
Hate to see that.
But-
Okay, the next one is a guy that we talked about on the very first episode this year. We talked about the new free agent guys. And I said, hey, he could have an impact this year. And that was Brandon Marshall, who had 3 catches for 46 yards, but he caught a touchdown. And Baldwin's going to be out for a few weeks, and they don't really have much else back there. So, Brandon Marshall,
Surprise!
pick him up.
You back. I think this is one of the top. I don't know if you need to put in a waiver claim for him, honestly. You might be able to pick him as a
He
free
might be
agent.
a 4 a.m. guy.
Yeah. But I think he's
3
worth
a.m.
having on your bench for sure.
Mm-hmm.
3:30 guy.
Yeah. One of them 3:30 guys.
I know Britt's setting an alarm, so I might
Oh,
have to.
yeah. I might have to as
I gotta go
well.
work out in the morning, so I'll be looking at that.
Because if I don't set an alarm, then all those BW guys wake up before me and they're going to grab them on. So.
That's right.
Y'all need to push those hours back, Ethan. You're killing me.
I don't think he
do.
cares. You're not worried about Tyler Lockett a little bit, though?
Huh?
Are you worried about Tyler Lockett, taking more of the target share than
Well, I'm saying
Marshall?
if Baldwin's out, then, I mean, they're the only 2 guys they got. And that tight end, what was his name? Disley or whatever?
He could take over the Jimmy Graham role, too, though.
He had a big day.
Yeah.
Speaking of tight ends, if you had, we'll get to the rest in peace there in a minute, but there were a few tight ends that went out this week, and you know who they are.
Please don't say the name.
Antonio Gates.
Okay, that's fine.
Wolf.
What was I going to say?
I'm sure we'll get to him in a second. Yeah, we'll get to him in a second.
Bottom of the list.
Antonio Gates, he only had 2 catches, but always solid. Phillip Rivers has that relationship with him. Maybe he's a guy you pick up.
I think he only had 2
Another
targets.
tight end, and Matt wants me to get to him, who had 9 catches for 180 yards last night.
Not like this.
The old Jared Cook. I feel like I've drafted him a couple years thinking, okay, this is the year. Jared
the
Cook's
year.
going to do it.
Full
And he either,
goal.
like,
This is his bait for everyone to grab him.
Just like catches 3 balls.
Oh
all year.
yeah. This may be many a league's #1 waiver pickup.
I went to
week.
bed last night in the first quarter of that game because I had to meet the teacher last night. I was exhausted. But when I woke up and saw that he had 9 catches for 180 yards, I thought that my app was like messed up or something. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
He's baiting everyone.
180 yards? What the heck?
He just
Yeah,
wants
and
you to
poor
waste
Amari
your waiver.
Cooper's got like 17 yards or something.
Well, you should be used to that by now.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick on Amari Cooper. I read that he had the 8th best separation yards. I think it's just Derek Carr. Derek Carr is not very good anymore.
Him and Jordy Nelson were like real close to each other.
Yeah,
except
Jordy
for-
Nelson was-
This his rookie year.
Yeah, I think it's just him. He was checked down Charlie last week to Jared Cook.
I think
No,
John Gruden,
Charlie.
too. I think John Gruden's an idiot.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying. But Carr wasn't good
Hell, he
last year
was
either.
That
Guy ran
Khalil
that
Mack.
That spider Y2 banana.
It's so,
Love that guy.
so funny.
A couple Phillips I'm going to get to here. Philip Dorsett. I mean, Philip Dorsett, man, that guy was useless in Indy. And put him with Tom Brady. He looks competent. 7 catches for 66 yards and 1 touchdown. Big thing here, Edelman's still going to be out 3 more weeks. He's kind of filling that role. But if you paid attention today, the Pats did sign Corey Coleman. So maybe a little competition there for Philip Dorsett. I don't know.
Till he marches into
Yeah.
Bill
I'm not picking him up.
Belichick's office.
If
Says
he ain't
needs
gonna
to be a
play me,
starter.
trade me. Do something.
Yeah, I'll leave him on the
Later.
waivers.
probably the rest of these guys. I mean, they're not guys you're rushing to pick up, but just to kind of think about, keep an eye on. The other Philip.
There's one of them that I like.
Philip Lindsay. 15 carries for 71 yards, 2 catches for 31 yards, and a touchdown. A lot of people thought that Royce Freeman was going to be the guy in Denver, and Philip Lindsay came in there and pretty much said, you know, I'm here too, and they basically split it right down the middle as far as production goes. He's a speedy guy too, man. He's fast.
A speculative ad?
Yeah, I think this is just their like thunder and lightning kind of combo. I don't think you have to worry about him cutting into Freeman's shares or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could add him if you have an extra slot.
You could.
I'm trying to. Matt's ahead of me in waiver order, so I'm trying to like catch a feel on what Matt's thinking with all this. What are you doing over there, Matt? I'm watching you.
Well, it won't be used on Philip Lindsay, I can tell you that.
Heard that before. Okay, Ted Ginn, that other Saint guy. Who said that they don't have any? Was that Austin that said they don't have any other guys? Or was that you?
That was awesome.
I said that Michael Thomas and Kamara were their top, you know, guys, but obviously, you know.
Ted Ginn said, I'm still here. 5 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. I started him a couple weeks last year. I think when I started him, he got a touchdown.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He got some pop-off potential.
Let's just say there's worse people out there that are owned that you could have than Ted Ginn. So.
I think it helped this week that they were down big and they had to throw the ball.
Throw the ball 48 times.
I don't know if I'd expect this every week.
Zay Jones right now. Okay.
I'm just glad that guy's still alive. Honestly.
Oh yeah, poor guy.
Praise.
We mentioned him earlier. He was part of that 3-headed monster in Tampa. Chris Godwin, 3 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. The big thing here is if DeShaun Jackson is out with his injury, then it's basically him and Mike Evans. So he could be in for a big week with Fitzpatrick airing it out. Now, they are playing Philly this week, who has a good defense. So maybe temper your expectations. It ain't the same out there.
Why would you want to tamper with my expectations?
I'll tamper with whatever I want to tamper with.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So aggressive.
Right.
So forward.
Ryan Grant, I didn't even know what team he was on, but he's apparently on the Colts. 8 catches for 59 yards. That do anything for you? 8 catches.
They also had to throw the ball quite a bit.
Yeah. Geronimo Allison, a guy that I think has some real potential. Aaron Rodgers likes him. 5 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Magical number. I actually think that he might be a better guy to own.
Yeah.
Especially if they do end up trading Cobb. I know there was a bunch of rumors early that they're going to trade Cobb, and now they say they're not. But
if Cobb gets hurt again.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
Cobb will probably get hurt at some point, and then Geronimo Allison's your number 2 there, so on a pass-happy offense.
Yes.
Or if Devontae gets concussed.
Jordan Wilkins was a big buzz guy coming into the year. He had, of the 22 rushing attempts by the Colts, he had 14 of them. Now, when is Marlon Mack supposed to be back?
Probably next week. He was questionable for this week, so I'm guessing next week.
So until he gets back, Wilkins, I think, is the guy to own there. Now, I'm not really sure what's going to happen when Mack gets there, but I know they like Wilkins a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're not starting him this week, especially with Matt coming back. I would just wait a while to see what they're going to end up doing there. I think Matt ends up taking the job, though.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, John Brown in Baltimore this year had 3 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. Worth a flyer?
Nah.
Not liking it?
Not feeling it just because of the... I mean, no.
Nah.
No.
A soft pass.
Matt, is this your guy here? Is this your guy
is
here?
It?
Austin Eckler?
No, that ain't my guy.
That ain't your guy?
Uh-oh.
No.
I don't have his rushing numbers here. I don't even know what he did because they'll just give the ball to Melvin Gordon. But in the passing game,
exactly,
5
that's all it
catches
was.
for 87 yards and a touchdown. So he's going to be involved in that passing game.
Shifty.
Yeah. I think Phillip Rivers likes him, trying to take over maybe that Danny Woodhead role a little bit.
They also had to throw the ball a ton too, though. So that could have a lot
They
to
do.
do with it. I guess if you're a Gordon owner, that's the only way I would add him. I don't think I'm picking him up if I'm not one, or unless
If
Gordon gets
Gordon
hurt.
does ever somehow go
Wink,
down,
wink.
then Eckler is going to be
Yeah,
huge.
I think there was a couple weeks last year that Gordon was borderline
I
hurt.
remember Eckler was on the list a couple times last year where he had some decent weeks.
Yeah,
Oh, he had a coming out party at one point, I think.
he came out.
Hey. I mean, I think he blew it up one week. He was like the hot thing, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, well then Gordon comes back and it's all automatically his backfield again.
Oh yeah, I got the big dick.
Next one, we're still waiting for his 200 or 250-yard game, whatever he promised us last year. But D.D. Westbrook, 5 catches for 51 yards. We like D.D.
I'd rather have Cole on it, obviously.
I think he's
but
got a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think Cole's. If you're gonna go for anything over there, Cole's the guy to have.
I think D.D. has the higher ceiling, but Cole is probably more solid.
for a team that Bortles is throwing you to, I want the more consistent guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last night, back for this year. He missed all of last year.
This
with
is
an
my
injury.
boy.
This is your boy.
This is my boy.
Quincy Enunwa. 6 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. Is that
Not
who you're really
bad.
picking up?
I don't know if I'm picking him up, but this is the guy that I was high on.
You can use that third waiver spot for him.
I don't know if I'd use it for him though, because it's a wide receiver. I like to save my waivers for running backs usually, but a lot of people were high on Robbie Anderson before the draft, and I was feeding into a little bit. Like, okay, Robbie Anderson's looking good, but I forgot that Nunwa wasn't there all last year, and when he was playing, he was pretty decent a couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember having some big weeks a couple years ago.
Yes.
I mean, he's gonna be a better pass blocker. He's just bigger all around than Anderson is, so he offers more of a target.
So that's it for our waiver wire here. Now remember, these are guys that are owned in less than 50% of your leagues. So there are still some guys that are owned in more than 50%. Like names I can think of, like Mahomes. He's owned in like 70%. He might be a guy you want to jump on. There's a few more that I can't really think of, but these are guys that are just less than 50% that are pretty much probably available in your league.
Yeah.
Last thing before we sign off here, a couple dust in the winds to take care of. A couple tight ends. I thought you were going to play dust in the wind, and you're playing.
I don't have dust in the wind.
John Cena.
But we have Delaney Walker, tight end for the Titans. I had him ranked as my number 4 tight end coming into the year. I expected a big year. He has snapped his ankle.
Oh Lord.
Just
Poor guy.
fucked up his leg completely. He's out for the year.
R.I.P.
Another tight end that hurt his foot, Greg Olsen.
No.
We don't really sure yet how much time he's going to miss, but I did get an alert 20 minutes ago that says Panthers tight end Greg Olsen plans to rest his fractured foot a few weeks and play the rest of the season. He is optimistic. He's optimistic he can wait until after the season for surgery. So who knows how that's going to go.
Press F to pay respects.
Yeah, I don't
You
know
can
if he'll be
probably
back.
feel good about dropping him now.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you did, especially after last season. There's
But
shittier running back tight ends you can pick up.
Week 1, it's good to be back. It was awesome to just sit there on Sunday and watch all these games, watch the guys go off. Even though I lost a rough start after last year, we're going to recover, though, get back to it.
Man.
Ethan, you were a winner, right? You had a good week.
155 points in half-point PPR.
Oh, nice.
Feels pretty good.
Matt, I know you had a rough week, too. That -7 defense didn't help anything.
Yeah, if anyone can recommend defenses to me, that's the only thing I struggle with. So feel free.
The Jaguars.
Well, yeah. DM us on Fantasy and Chill. Tell me a defense.
Yeah, so if you aren't already, go to our Instagram at Fantasy and Chill. Follow us. Ask your questions. Twitter at Fantasy and Chill. Subscribe on YouTube, Fantasy and Chill. Hit us up on the subscribe to us on the podcast app, Fantasy and Chill. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you can just listen to it on the Apple Podcast app, iTunes Podcast, whatever it is. I think that's about it. Am I forgetting anything?
Just everything fantasy and chill. If you don't
Everything
know,
Fantasy and Chill.
if you don't know if we have it, just search fantasy and chill. You probably find us on there.
But yeah, hit us up with questions. We're very active. As we get to the weekend, we were answering, or not me, I was in church, but Matt and Austin, those heathens were at home answering your questions. So keep them coming. They'll give you as good advice as they can. They can't really help you if someone gets hurt, like Doug Baldwin, that guy that was giving us shit for Doug Baldwin advice, man.
Call that bitch out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Fuck you, man.
Okay.
Sorry. We can't predict injuries here, okay? But that's it for week 1. We'll be back next week, hopefully around the same time if everything works out, with our week 2 recap and looking forward to week 3. So good to be back. Hopefully see you next week, and we out.
Raccoon.